Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
Saved you a seat?
You did.
You're out of your element.
Oh, I'm out of my element.
No, we know that. You're always out of your element. There's somebody else, who's coming?
Well, you just got to talk to me
Oh,
and final
TJ,
approval.
I don't know who else.
Yeah.
Well, I want to meet him there. I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
Yeah. How much?
I don't know.
All right, I guess we're ready. It's 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Start with roll call. Jonathan is not present. Sue?
Here.
And I am here. We're going to start with RSA 91A semicolon 3 2C tax deeding. A motion for non-public under that RSA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
When you go into non-public, it's very important to say roll call and say both your names
Okay.
as affirmative. Don't just say,
What did I say?
So,
Do the
so say Keys yes,
Oh,
and
this is
then
first
Simpson
one.
will say yes.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So do that now. Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A semicolon 3 2C. All the,
Can I,
do I have a second?
Second.
Keys.
roll call vote?
Roll call vote.
Keys yes,
Keys, yes.
Simpson yes.
I'm sorry, yes.
Sue has to say.
Yes, Simpson, yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
301. Action.
All right, we're back. I would like to motion to come out of non-public and to seal the minutes from the non-public.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
313.
All right. Review the red folder documents. I have approximately 94 approvals and 20 denials, requests for clerical abatement. We've reviewed all of these, and I make a motion that we accept or deny as recommended by Avatar.
I'll second the
Second.
motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Point of order.
Yep.
Can I have a quick list of those later on, the denied and the accepted or approved?
I don't know if I don't know if Jesse has a list downstairs. Is that something we've provided for you in the past? Otherwise, they're available for public inspection now, but I don't think we intend to create a new document that doesn't exist, but they're there and we can make them available now or at any time.
Okay, so the ones that were denied and the ones that were approved are available for public?
Of course.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yep.
I would never make you create a report that's not already done.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, like any public document, these are here and available to inspect. I chose not to read every map reference and dollar amount, but they are here for public inspection. And other than that, if you don't have anything, do you have anything to add?
No, I
Otherwise,
am
we will
downstairs.
move to recess until 16:15. Nothing? Anything? Good?
No, I'll go downstairs. I got a little bit here.
You got something, Maddie?
Well, just because it's up here, the boundary line adjustment for the 7 Door Street is moving along. This has been presented from Horizons Engineering through Jim Rhines. Chairman Smith and I both looked at it. It looks like it's what we had wanted and asked for, and Jim Rhines is going to the planning board for the next or final phase of the boundary line. And that's to move the playground to the Freight House Annex parcel.
Right.
Anybody wants to see it, it's right here, but that's moving along. I did have a call with the Realtor Mitch this morning. There's been another person with some more interest in the sale of Door Street, and he's still he's quite confident that once the police move out and they can have an open house where people can more easily envision for other uses other than a PD, then it really opens up a base to potential sell and market to. So all things are still going forward.
I can talk about one thing I've been doing because I'll talk about it downstairs, but I'll get into a little more in detail up here, is working with Waterworth Solutions. It's a company that kind of helps small water and sewer departments look into the future, because you can't continuously operate with just funding your operating budget. You gotta put money away because everything's expensive in order to update it or to grow it or whatever.
Right.
And I've been working with them, and they're gonna be able to help me kind of show the public and show the board
Right.
of what the needs are for the Ossipee Water and Sewer Department. They do this all over the country. Matt and I had worked with another company before, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't happy with it, and I don't think Matt was. I don't think anyone really was on what they were giving us for advice. It was advice we could have done.
Okay.
This company puts together, very visual spreadsheets, very visual graphs to show where their department's headed,
Right.
and on how to kind of assess what our rates need to be, and
Okay.
things that we can do to maybe be more efficient or anything like that. You know what I mean? We've kind of done what we can with Jim and Tracy and myself, as far as that's run very tightly over there. So they're going to be able to show us, and then if we do have to go in front of obviously the patrons, and the rates do have to change, they can be there to back us up on like what other towns are and what
Right.
we have to have in order to function correctly.
Yeah.
They were very, very happy with what we had done, because previously the water wasn't paying for water and sewer wasn't paying for sewer. So
Right.
we're doing that now,
Right.
and they've gone right down to every bill we've done, and they were very happy. They are going to help us also with, because DES is crunching down on what we have to do. We had to build a $20,000 rack to catch the solids, and that's something we've never had to do. And
Okay.
all these new policies and all the new rules that DES has, it makes the lagoons a lot harder to function.
Right.
Because we have to have all this new stuff in order to do it. Testing is more, the tolerances are quarter what they used to be, and they're gonna help us with that to kind of work forward. So far, they haven't even talked about a cost. I don't believe there's any cost. So
Oh, okay.
if it's something they can help us with,
Will they have like a projection for sustainability as far as the cost? The cost is obviously not sustainable if you're trying to just
No.
increase the cost that it takes
No,
to
they'll-
maintain it on the end user.
they do these projections, like if, say we had a bad water main break,
Okay.
like more than what we've had, we
Right.
show the dip. Their graphs are pretty neat. So they when they do their funding for issues, it's a gradual slope up.
Right.
Whereas 90% of towns, they have this and then bond, and it jumps up. They don't
Okay.
they say we really should try to have a steady raise in your rates,
Right.
instead of having these, huge jumps at once.
Okay.
And they did say the monthly billing everybody's going to that, because that's just the way the world is
Right.
now. I had my first long meeting with them this morning. I'm gonna have another one with them Thursday. I'm gonna have Jimmy there for that one. But pretty excited to have someone that, at their caliber, from what they were
Right.
showing me. They're gonna go through the program with me on Thursday to see if it's something we wanna even enter in. I'm gonna get some information to show the board, and we can bring it to one of the meetings, put it on the screen, and see if it's something the patrons wanna, get into.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Sounds good. If there's nothing further, I'll motion to recess until 16:15.
Second?
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
15:20.
thank you.
I always do. I had a kick out of it.
No, the sun, that's the sun. The sun's magnetic poles.
No, it's also the tilt of the earth
Also
changed.
the earth.
Oh, I thought it was just the sun.
No, the earth happens every 77,000 years, and the sun happens between 7 and 11 years. And it's going through a solar maximum. The planet actually, our North Pole is moving into Siberia at this point. We have a very serious planet tilt happening currently.
Yep,
Yeah,
I read
so
it.
Watch your sunrises and sunsets.
Is that why
The times are all changing.
Is that why everybody's behavior seems to be
Well,
off?
if you look the other day, the moon stayed in the sky the entire day. right?
As we kind of be able to see them during the day.
Yeah, off and on, but not continuously all day. Because it is tilted.
Well, I'll say none of us can predict the future, so,
Yeah.
No.
but if you can, I wanna make a couple bets.
Well, I would say this, that they don't have any human record of a pole shift, so we don't know really what's gonna happen when it happens.
Or what's it gonna do?
Right.
Quarter past.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mute this thing.
That's what I think.
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
About 4:15, we'll start the meeting. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with our first public input.
Well, I'm here today to ask for all of your assistance.
You can state your name, sir, sorry.
My name is Robert Bowie, at
Okay.
Center Ossipee, New Hampshire.
Okay.
I'm here to ask for help I don't know how much you guys understand what happened to Mark McConkey's son this weekend. But out in front of M&V and Ski Works, we have passing lanes coming both ways. And I was the one that had to pull the tapes. And if there wasn't a passing zone there, this wouldn't have happened. Jake has pretty much lost a leg. By the end of the week, we don't know if he's going to be able to keep it or not. He's got brain damage. The truck hit him full force, no skid marks, at about 50 miles an hour. Came into M&V, hit the concrete barrier that saved the pump one, and hit another truck and totaled all the vehicles. Jake is stable currently, but it's up and down. We don't know. Last night overnight, they almost lost him. There's no reason for a passing zone in that zone. It should be a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. We have two commercial businesses with both north and south entrance and exits. And it's a passing lane. And we need help. We need to get those lines changed. And I know it might be a state issue, but you guys are the connection. I'm going to say that on the behalf of the McConkey family. They're very close to me. Mark's very close to me. Jake and Alexis are very, very close to me. It's a tragedy in the making. I watched when I cut the video and gave it to Chris Lamb. Jake did everything right. Coming in on that incident, and this guy happened so fast that Jake doesn't even know what. Jake doesn't know what happened. Right now, he doesn't know. It was beyond a split second. It was breathtaking. I watched it, I looked at Vince, and I said, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to walk away. So, can we change that? Can we try and get those lines changed?
Yeah, I'll speak to it in the human sense. I'm very sorry, for the McConkey family and for.
God bless them. They need all
Mark
the
and-
prayers they can get, and they are in critical right now.
And he and his family are in my thoughts and prayers in the human sense. As a selectman, if there's anything we can do I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said.
That's why.
And we gotta get them to change those lines. That's
Yeah.
not the only incident that I see. I run the store, I run that business for Mark and Vinny for a good section of the week. And the stuff that I see that happens out there is absolutely bizarre. There's absolutely no reason for that line to be dotted.
We will certainly draft a letter to DOT as the first, whatever the first step is, we'll take that.
One good thing I'm very thankful for, I pushed Vince and Mark very hard for a $20,000 camera system in that business, and we're all 4K, and we had pretty good coverage of exactly what happened. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, but it's a tragedy at the same thing. But
Thank you.
It's really too bad. That's all I have to say.
I believe, Brian, if you look into it, and probably with a letter of recommendation, there was a time, and I believe it was 2016, when I was foreman there, that they were gonna start the reduced speed to 35 miles an hour back by the swamp past Napa.
Yep.
And then the 35 miles an hour is gonna change right at the corner in Napa. And I'm presuming if that started out, because you don't only have, he's right, there's two businesses, but you have very busy two businesses in the Kevin's and the new auto shop, and then you have,
They come in there at such a high rate of speed
Yeah.
through there.
so I'm pretty sure that was already talked to when the previous district engineer, Alan Hanscom, was there. I'm sure Nancy Spalding, that's there now, I'm sure she would.
I think it's Mark and I talked, I kind of pushed him in that direction too, and he's kind of aware of it, so I think that he's gonna try and get it going too, but we need voices, and we really gotta make it happen. I mean,
Yeah, so, yeah, Mark obviously has a lot of clout, and then anything we can do as far as a letter to, and I completely agree with you. So,
yeah.
sorry that this happened, thank you. Any other public input?
My name's Jen Weaver, I'm from Center Ossipee as well. I'm looking just, again, for some help. It's not as serious of an issue, obviously, as this, but I have a property here on Doors Corner, and my neighbor put a stone wall down the middle of it. It's a shared road. My concerns are, I have a lot of concerns, but a couple of my biggest concerns are safety. I do not believe you can get a fire truck back there.
Okay.
I do not believe you could get access to, so my property, Bill May's property is behind me,
Yep.
Charlie White's property is behind that.
Right.
You need to access my property to access their property. You also need to access my property to get to Pam and Dwayne Berry's house. And like I said, there's now a rock wall down the middle of that road. A couple weeks ago, Dwayne excavated wetlands. He used town trucks to bring in dirt. I have pictures of town trucks coming in and out. I have pictures of them destroying wetlands.
Okay.
My biggest concern is that stone wall. I barely have access to my garage. Again, my dad fell last winter. I've talked to a couple people, including Susan's husband.
Right.
He was there that day, and it took a lot to get my dad into an ambulance because my front driveway is a big hill, and it's all ice in the winter. If I come down that hill in the winter, I'm going to slam right into that stone wall.
Okay.
I just don't know where to turn. I don't know what my options are.
Right, the best.
I do have maps. I do have showing my property lines. I do believe the rock wall is on my property.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with exactly what you're talking about. The best thing to do right now, after this meeting, is to email everything you just said to Matt, so that we can process it, and then if TJ has something to add, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't
I
be
can
able
add to it. He has a driveway permit, and the reason the town trucks were there, you yourself,
I know, but you can get Phil and stuff
yeah,
delivered.
they have to fill out a waiver
Yeah.
that relieves the town, we never had this waiver, and we come up with it, so let's use Bob, he spoke before, if I use him as an example, and I haul him 40 yards of material, and his kids or his grandkids go out there and get cut in it, I had to have a waiver relieving the town because there's glass bottles, it's roadside ditching.
Well, my kids are out there. I have two sons, and there's a lot of, they ride dirt bikes, snowmobiles, four-wheelers,
Yeah.
they fix them, they buy them myself, you know what I mean? It's a big hobby of theirs, because the trails are all right there. They're not
So I
gonna
can
trouble
speak to
us,
why
you
the
know?
town trucks were there, is because anywhere we
and I
can get
understand.
rid of Phil, it saves the taxpayer
Can I
money.
get on this list?
If you see me after,
Yeah,
I
I'd
give you a
love to get on
form,
this
and you can
list.
get it, get all the Phil you want.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot of
and
invasive
that's not even-
species right now, like Japanese knotweed, and I can't
Yeah.
have the liability on the town if I dump behind someone's house and they have 10 foot of that
Well-
stuff, so. The other thing I can answer to is, I don't know if it was from your house or where it was from, but I have had a total of 14 hours of overtime hours for our highway department, for ATVs and four-wheelers coming out of that driveway and
It's a-
spinning dirt into the town road.
My kids go out there and rake, when they do that, they go out there and they rake it back in.
I think that's because I had Ossipee PD go there.
That's
But-
because there was a complaint, but it's also a dirt road that's on a hill. My driveway just washes down. I
Yep.
can't stop my driveway from washing down
Yeah.
into the road. I can't stop that.
So he filed for a driveway permit, he has the correct
Yeah.
amount of site distance, and that's all Neil and myself can go by when we go for the class for them, is
Well,
site
it's-
distance.
My biggest issue is safety. If
Yeah.
my dad fell this winter and you guys needed to get him out of there, you wouldn't be able to get him out of there. If my house is on fire, you're not gonna get apparatus up there.
So past 40 feet, past actually, probably, what is that, 25 feet from the center line? 25 feet from the center line, there's nothing I can do. Because whatever that driveway looks like past 25 feet, the town of Ossipee has no jurisdiction. The first 25 feet
So
we
that's
do.
exactly where he stuck the first rock.
So
The driveway permit states 25 feet.
But it's on my land.
That's a civil issue between you and him, because I can't get the
Okay.
town into a
So
legal.
who's liable if I come down my driveway and I hit that rock wall in the winter because of the ice and the snow?
I'm
who's
not an
liable for
attorney, I
that?
can't, it's nothing to do with
What
us.
if they come home drunk some night and pull in and hit that wall?
This
So
is all
Jen,
what I'm
Who's
saying.
liable for that?
Jen, I have one other
So-
suggestion for you. There's RSA 154. If you talk to Dana Cullen, he's the chief.
I've already
fire-
spoken with Dana.
Yeah, and then there's some motion there with, as far as emergency access.
Yep.
that
And
if
that,
you-
like I said, that's my biggest, my biggest concern, and if something happens, you guys aren't gonna be able, I don't know what I've also been told issues about as far as, like what the right of way and what I don't know what what level road that is, like the
Class
level.
5, that's class 5.
I don't know what that means, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's class 5 road and it's 25 feet from the center line.
Okay, but what about the access road up behind me?
That's not a town road.
So the next steps are definitely email Matt everything you just said, and then we can untangle it and see if we can make progress to remediate.
Were you guys talking about Dwayne Berry?
Yes.
Does anybody know him personally? Chris Lamb from the sheriff's department is looking to speak to him for a statement because he witnessed something in that accident. They need to talk to him, if you could.
Okay.
Be kind.
Any other public input?
Can I just get Matt's information? No, okay.
I can give you
I
Chris's
apologize, I
stuff,
have to,
too.
I have to go to work. Thank you.
Lynn Clark, Center Ossipee. I just wanted to make sure that on the public record, that everyone understands whether the building gets demolished or not, that there are environmental concerns and safety and health concerns that we want to put on the record. I know, TJ, we had spoken about, or no, I'm not sure which one, you had mentioned that asbestos was checked, but lead needs to be checked for the building for disposal because it was built in 1920. And the mold and ill repair, we still have no idea. I don't think there were any assessments done. I've been trying to find out that, so if we could get that information. If not, that should be tested before demolition as well. And when the water gets turned back on, the VOC level should be tested for all of the village district. It's been since 2015 that DES stopped monitoring the site, and it's important to have the VOC levels checked after the water's been shut off. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? Before we move to the red folder?
Got nothing? No.
All right, Sue, do you have anything for the red folder?
I'll wait for the second one.
I have the check voucher total, week ending June 15, 2024, pay date June 18, 2024. Wages, $34,751.69. Payroll taxes, $9,855.67. excuse me. Total payroll, $44,607.36. Accounts payable, week ending June 15, 2024. Accounts payable, general fund total, $101,776.03. Fire precinct, $180,088.25. School payment, $1,302,418. Ambulance, $35,500. Water, $13,434.97. Sewer, $129.98. Revolving fund, $408.28. Total accounts payable, $1,633,755.51. Total fund payments, $1,678,362.87. I make a motion we approve these check voucher totals.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Two documents from the red folder. The first is the North Conway Water Precinct. We have a 5-year contract. It's an agreement for septic disposal. We signed this today. The second is we enacted a parking ordinance on Route 25. I'll read this.
Route 25 where? At the
I'll read it
boat
for
ramp?
you. Yep. Pursuant to the authority granted under New Hampshire RSA 31:39, RSA 41:11, RSA 47:17, and any other applicable statute under New Hampshire law, the following ordinance is enacted. A section of New Hampshire Route 25 in center Ossipee, near the state boat launch, is closed for parking as indicated by signs installed by the New Hampshire DOT. The penalty for violating this ordinance is a $300 fine. The Ossipee Police Department may cause the vehicle to be towed at the expense of the owner or custodian of the vehicle. And then we signed this today. So that's exactly what
That needed to happen.
How far does that go from the boat ramp, boat launch?
Up on Sullivan Street.
1,360
They
feet.
won't be able to park on the street.
Thank you. Yeah.
They clogged 25 right there.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I've seen it a long ways down the road,
Oh,
so
yeah.
they'll probably go 1,300 feet and still park, but I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yeah, I hesitate to speculate. We were obviously shocked with a simple email or letter to the state to get that type
Are they-
of response. And I would like to add, I hope that the same thing happens with what you just talked about in
great.
front of Emmett.
Are they gonna put
I
up
would really
signs?
appreciate it, yeah.
They're on.
They're already up.
We'll jump
They're
to
all
that.
up?
Yeah, they're already
Okay.
up, yeah. That's all I have for the
I
red.
got
To make
one.
sure they don't
Yeah,
stay.
about time they did that. They really did.
I have the Selectmen's work session for June 4th, 2024. I make a motion, we approve these minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I have a supplemental warrant in the amount of $240. This is the property owner on this campsite. I make a motion, we approve this $240 supplemental warrant.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I have another supplemental warrant in the amount of $4. This is the property owner on this campsite. I make a motion, we approve the $4 on this supplemental warrant.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's all I have.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. The only other motion I need to make is for our town clerk, Kelly Skehan, as of 4:30 today, to be able to tax deed properties that are not paid over the last 3 years.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you know how many?
Accounts payable. Old business? Do you have anything, Matt?
Yeah, well, this is probably more new business, but our contract with our power supply company, Constellation, is up. I've reviewed options and had our power consultant, Stuart Ornsby, review them. He recommended either a 28 or 40 month, as proposed by Constellation, be about 9.8 cents a kilowatt either way. It's just a question of if you feel like rates may go down depending on factors, political or geoeconomic. John Smith was indifferent, so 28 or 40 months are out of the four, those are the two that we've narrowed it down to. I don't know if the board has a position on 28 or 40, and either way, please authorize me to enter into a new contract with.
I do for 28.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to authorize me to do that?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize Matt to sign the kilowatt hour agreement with, what was the name of the company?
Constellation.
Constellation for 28 months.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yep.
And if I can follow up on one more item, the Conservation Commission met last week. They officially accepted the funds that were left to the town by the George Eisner Trust. Under their instruction and my help, have drafted a letter to the treasurer, and as of today, she has the bank account open for that. I know there's been some, the rumor mill in town about the use of funds. If anybody wants to have documentation, please email me. The court is very clear with the court order that use of funds is for the Conservation Commission to purchase property. This isn't something the town came up with, where I would love it if that wasn't the case, but that's what was in the trust, and that's what the judge ordered. So email me if you want a copy of it. That's it.
What was the amount in that account?
2.1 million, and give or take 20 or 30,000, I don't remember exactly.
TJ, do you have any old or new business?
Yeah, so the spring of this year, and not everybody knows, the town switched the Public Works Department to magnesium chloride. If you go around and you look at the roads, Neil has 98% of the roads graded. Anyone that's rode them, you can see the difference. Molecules of magnesium go to a solid. So the roads in some places look like they've been paved. They're so hard. It's working out really good. Dust has been down. Of course, it's going to start next week, but we can put more. Up to the covered bridge road, that pipe that was out, the culvert pipe, the box culvert, Neil and the crew went up and they replaced that, the 3-foot culvert that goes across. So now you can drive right to the bridge, to the gates that's crossed right at the bridge. Chris went up and they the crew also cut some trees so you can see a little better when you get down in there. He also went up and blew the road off because it was all debris. They cleaned up all the brush. The picnic tables have been ordered. They're in the process of coming. 3 of them inside the building, inside the bridge, sorry. And then on the other side, we installed a gate. That was part of the deal when we did that, so we could get the bridge back across. We had to install just a gate from Tractor Supply. I will say that I'm going to draft something for the Board of Selectmen, maybe next meeting, that just in front of that gate, that there's no parking, because the landowner has been down in his property or out of his property and not been able to get in and out, and I think that's fair, that he can just have that 15 feet. He doesn't care if people park on his property, but just in that 15 feet. Beach Pond Road, just a warning to everyone, will be closed for construction in the next few weeks. We have a filled culvert that we will be changing. The finishing touches on Foggs Ridge Road were completed, and it seemed to work. We haven't heard anything. We went down and there was a lot of work down there and a lot of material. All the lines and all the parking lots have been painted. Chris and Tim did that. They look good. They went over to the dump and did that, laid that all out. Been working with New Hampshire DES. Not a lot of people know, but past practice was that the town of Ossipee had 2 Class C operators for the underground storage tanks, and they hired a company to come do the monthly inspections. That totaled to about $650 a month. Since then, I am now the Class A operator, which if anyone doesn't know about, there are some people here that I think do. Class A operator is involved in all the financials of it, the paperwork pretty much. And Neil is actually the Class B operator for the town. So he is in charge pretty much of the Class C operators, which is Sean Berry and Eric Siemens. And they are pretty much just in charge of the monthly inspections and any spills we have. They're their emergency response. We do have a load of cardboard going out Thursday from Casella. It's not awesome, but it's not bad. Tomorrow also a load of glass will be going to NRRA. I got an email saying that we need to sell glass because it's up. Well, that is not the truth. It is $45 per ton to get rid of it, so we're still paying. I talked to the guys at the skid steer today, at the transfer station. They said the skid steer was working great. They said they have to get used to it because it's a 2024 coming from an old one. They sent out a load of tires and electrical, and we're close to having a load of aluminum, and I really hope that hurries up because that is up right now. We're on the schedule to be recertified main scales. We have to do that every 6 months for the warranty of the scale, but we also have to do it every year for Department of Agriculture. I'm working on a 3-year agreement with our private water and sewer consultant to clean out our lagoons, because that is going up every year, and if I can guarantee him the work for 3 years, we're gonna get a better price. And that's something we have to do every year, is clean 2 lagoons out. And like I said upstairs, I'm working with Waterworth Solutions to assess and determine the future of the Ossipee Water and Sewer Department. They are able to show the taxpayer and the patrons of the water system in very vibrant graphs and different slideshows of where the department's going to keep going if we're just funding the operations of it like we are now, and where it's going to go if we can, gradually raise rates and put some money away for infrastructure, because as you know, water and sewer doesn't last forever. And right now we're just running at the bare minimum. So that's it. If anyone has any questions.
Do you have anything, sir? For new or old business? The only thing I wanted to say was I wanted to thank the town for the public input that I received, that you forwarded to Matt, regarding swimming at the mill ponds. I think it's fantastic. The mill pond's always going to be there for generations and decades. My family's enjoyed it. There's nothing, better than it if you live locally there. I think we have some good suggestions moving forward to improve it. I know I had mentioned the one thing that really is not up for negotiation would be like an unsupervised. It's hard to put an age on this, but like if you're 5 or 6 there for hours at a time swimming, like I don't think at 5 or 6 those kids know the risk of a spillway dam or the risk of jumping from a bridge. So that was really the only thing. Out of all those rules, there is a rule that you can't jump from the bridge, and I assure you, my children and myself and my brother, we all jump from the bridge. So, but to leave unsupervised kids was really the take home there. And I wanted to ask you about the crosswalks, because we talked about a crosswalk would certainly slow traffic there and prevent, a tragedy.
So what we're looking into, because looking at the Hard Road to Travel, which is a book that's put out by New Hampshire DOT, the rules and regulations of roads, I have an email in to see if it's okay for a crosswalk to not go to a sidewalk. Is it okay to have a crosswalk by MUTCD standards to go from an intersection to an intersection? And I don't want to see us paint them in and then that be against the law and then something happen down the road. So I'm waiting for an email back on that. As soon as we find out, we'll let the public know. Obviously you will know first. And if we can put them in, we can put them in. But I just got to make sure that's you know, the legalities of it. Because if you put a crosswalk in, you're taking on some responsibility.
Yeah, no, that's, so there was 30, I think, would you have 30 emails?
Ish, yeah.
I think 29 of them recommended a crosswalk from the mountain road, because that's just the natural flow of pedestrian traffic, notwithstanding like fishermen and just general traffic. So we're gonna work on that, and it's gonna take some time, but we're gonna make that a better, safer place for all to enjoy for generations.
I was wondering, Susan McGuire, I know when you're going down Ossipee Lake Road past Camp Calumet, there's that sign that gives the speed and shows you how fast, and then they have the triangle flashing so that makes you aware of how fast you're going. My concern since I arrived here has been the speed. You have trucks with campers going up that road.
Yep.
The kids love to spin with their tires and everything else, and it is the intersection. And I think awareness, also through Eaton has it too, like you are going this, they've really slowed down the traffic going through Eaton on 153 to North
Okay.
Conway.
Yep.
And it tells you how fast, I don't know what the expense of something like that,
Yeah.
but
I'd
just
like
to
to do
slow
it.
things
Yeah.
down
We had one.
would be great. Did
did.
we tell?
We had 2 for about a week, and then the first one was stolen. And
Gone, right?
But what she's talking about, I can remind Brian, we actually did talk about those flashing LED
Yeah.
ones. They're $2 or $3 grand a piece.
Okay.
And right now, with what happened with the sign, with the people stealing the signs, I only get so much for my sign
Right.
budget. And I get this as a safety thing, but I also have to have road names up, as you know, because
Yes.
911 doesn't know where to go.
Right.
And we've about doubled our sign budget this year. So I would love to put those in. Him and I talked about them. There's power to get right there. There's solar we can use right there. Love to put those in, but I think we need to wait unless we get money from somewhere to.
Things in the future, yeah.
So we can get into public input now unless you have anything else under old or new business, since we're already in it. All right, so we'll move to the second public input.
What if you look to the people, put something together to have a fundraiser, come up with the funds?
Yeah, that's kind of the notion of why that letter was the community. The most cost-effective way, I think, to prevent a tragedy there would be to enable the community to not be afraid to call out, you know, an unsupervised 6-year-old. I don't know all the kids there anymore. I used to, and I think, you know,
Well, I mean, for the
if
sign,
everyone's
the sign that she was talking about.
Okay.
If you guys put
Oh,
something
yeah.
together that's a budget for that, right? And then you put it out for the people, and we hold something that people can vote on it and put in money, and we can do a fundraiser.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. We do have a fund, a revolving fund for the fishing derby that we could maybe look into. When that fund grows, we could do safety measurements with that too.
That brings a lot of people to fishing derby, so I mean, that's every year, and there's a lot that happens right there.
I think it would be great.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Any
might
other
help
public?
traffic slowing down in town as well.
Yeah.
You're doing the duck race this year, right?
We have to talk to Mark and.
Any other public input? All right, hearing none, we'll motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
1647.
You know you did that on purpose, right?